It's not a clickbait. If you can give me 60 minutes for the next 3 months, then I can make you an English speaker. And I'm not promising you any magical tips and tricks. I'm just going to provide you a system that will keep you engaged and consistent for the next 90 days. My name is Roshan, and on this channel I talk about spoken English learning. And if you're somebody who is trying to learn this language, then make sure to subscribe and watch this full video. And now let me tell you how I'm going to make you a speaker. As I mentioned that I don't have any magical pills, you will do the work. I will just guide you. All you need is curiosity and desire to learn this language. And also, you need to ask a lot of questions. Now, let me break it down in the next 5 steps for you. You have to accept that English is a language and it is just another skill. So, like any other skill, you have to put in the repetition. Let's say if you want to build a body, you cannot expect to go to gym for the next 10 days and expect six-pack abs. In the same manner, you can't become a fluent speaker in just 10 days. You have to put in the repetition. So, if you are a complete beginner, it's not guaranteed that you are going to become a fluent speaker in the next 90 days. But just imagine continuing the same habits that you have built in these 90 days and continuing it for over a year now. What do you think will happen? You will not recognize your own communication skills. You will reach to a certain level that you will be proud of. So, in simple words, you have to put in the hours. But repetition alone is not enough. And that brings us to point number 2, feedback. We are living in a digital era and self-learning has never been this easy. We have access to a lot of free courses, videos, notes, books. But with a lot of free things, there are also a lot of distractions. And that's where I think feedback from a real person is the most impactful thing. Why? Because if you are learning by yourself, sometimes you don't have that motivation to keep on going. You don't have any accountability partner. But if a person is giving you right kind of feedback, then your learning process becomes very smooth. So, feedback is very important, and especially from a human. Now, let's talk about something even more important, input. A lot of beginners start consuming random things, and because of that, they also get random output. So, it's very important to consume right kind of media. Reading is important, but what exactly to read? Watching is important, but what exactly to watch? So, when you work with somebody who has been learning this language and teaching this language for a long time, they have figured out the right kind of materials, what to read, what to watch, and because of the right kind of input, your output is also going to improve. You will be able to hold a conversation, you will be able to talk on various topics without getting stuck. So try to find right kind of input and automatically you will see improvement the way you talk, the way you write. And that brings us to our point number 4, which is first person perspective. Now this is my personal favorite method to teach spoken English. The first person perspective, and especially for beginners who don't understand what first person perspective is. So let me give you some examples. I live in Siwan. I am from Bihar. I teach spoken English. So do you recognize any pattern here? All of these sentences start with one word, I, and I'm talking about myself. Majority of the time, we make sentences in first person perspective, whether you speak Hindi, Bhojpuri or English. So for a beginner, it's very important to read the right kind of thing, to learn right kind of things. And when you repeat the same thing, you are not memorizing sentences, you are not memorizing sentence structures, but you are recognizing a pattern. And recognition is key here. The thing I mentioned earlier, repeat so many times that it becomes part of your muscle memory, that you don't have to give second thought before you make a sentence. I have worked on hundreds of topics. I have written so many things in the first person perspective, which helps learners to recognize the pattern and to make sentences. And the example I gave you earlier to talk about yourself. So if you come to me and ask a question, Roshan, tell us where are you from? So how do you think I will start my sentences? I will talk about myself, right? That I live at this place, I am from this place. And then further I can talk about the place itself. So 70 to 80% of your sentences are in first person perspective. And when you read over 50 topics, then you recognize the pattern automatically. And finally, the most important thing, discipline over motivation. A lot of learners are motivated in the first week. They try to show up in every class, they learn, they prepare. But after a couple of weeks, they think that the learning process becomes too repetitive and they forget point number 1, that repetition is key here. So you have to build this discipline, that even if you're not feeling motivated, you have to believe in the process. Now, that's the simplest and most effective advice I have ever heard. Trust the process, because I think motivation is such an overrated word that, find motivation. Even if you are not feeling like reading, talking, but just being in a class, being in an environment where people are genuinely excited to learn. So that's why trusting the process is very important. So if you have watched this far, I assume that you are truly interested in learning this language. And if you want to be part of my classes, my community, then drop me a message on my number and I'll share the details. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon with a new topic. Bye.